Mr. Rajnish Kumar, the top boss at SBI. Mr. Kumar, good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us on ET Now. This is Nantara Rai from the New Delhi studio. I don't know if you're watching ET Now all day. Today we're bringing all the stories and updates from 8 a.m. onwards. So it's a done deal. I want to understand from you. We are still believing that Naresh Goyal is staying on as an investor, has resigned from the board as his wife Anita, but staying on with a 25% stake. Can you confirm that for us? And also what the new shareholding is going to be till a new investor is found?
I think they would have informed the stock exchange, but all the existing investors, their shareholding will be reduced by 50% because lenders are acquiring or new shares are being issued. 11.40 crore new shares are being issued. So whatever is the percentage shareholding of anybody, you just divide by 2 and that is their revised shareholding.
So, Mr. Kumar, what I want to understand from you is, and you help us understand this, till today, till Friday, when you also met the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, one got a sense that the two equity partners were just not seeing eye to eye. There was no consensus that could be reached. Now, the lenders are in the driving position. You have a 15.5% stake. So, having said that, how will we reach a consensus?
No consensus, there's no issue now. Everybody has been given the exit terms. And they will sign those exit terms, and it is for the new investor who comes in. And what do they want? So no roadblocks will be there from the existing shareholders.
Okay. Mr. Kumar, you know, 2 new board members have to be inducted. If I could please ask you this on live television, what are the chances, and you know, we've been reporting this, that one of them could be the former SBI Chairman, Mr. Janki Balab, and then the other one could also be an old SBI hand, a former managing director who has served on the Jet Airways board, Mr. Vishwanathan. Are these the 2 likely candidates to be inducted on the Jet board?
No, we will make some recommendation to the Jet Airways board. And then once the Jet Airways board accepts those recommendations, then this information will be known.
But are these the 2 recommendations?
We have not made any recommendations as yet. We will consult all other lenders, Indian lenders, and there will be like every possibility. We are requesting some of the private banks who are part of the consortium, whether they would also be willing to nominate one person of their choice. And the ultimate idea is that top quality professionals are on the board as lenders nominee, so that they can oversee this process of sale of Jet Airways equity in the next 2 months.
Is there any plan in place to completely buy out Mr. Naresh Goyal, the founder and who used to be the principal promoter of Jet Airways? Is there any such plan like that?
It will be new investors' choice. What do they want to do? But way is clear. Path is clear. So new investor comes in, tells the terms. These are my terms. And whatever are the terms, the lenders will evaluate. And once that decision has been taken, so there will not be any roadblock from either of the existing shareholders.
But Mr. Kumar, you know, just on a realistic level, what are the odds of a new airline wanting to come into Jet when you already have a Mr. Naresh Goyal with a 25% stake, when you already have an Etihad with a 12% stake? Should I then imagine that perhaps it's going to be a financial investor, or if a new airline does want to come, it'll press on the exit of these 2 shareholders?
I think you are asking me to repeat the same thing. What I'm saying is that new investor who comes in, and if they say that they don't want X or they don't want Y, this will be the choice of the new investor. This will not be the choice of the existing shareholders.
So the 1,500 crore rupees that's going into Jet for emergency funding, you know, this is capital infusion, or this is what the bankers are converting some of Mr. Goyal's pledged shares into equity, debt into equity? Is it, or is it fresh infusion?
You know, this is like Indian lenders consortium, which will hold pro rata share in the 50.1% equity, which has been acquired for rupee 1, and it has a mark-to-market upside, and there will be identical participation in this instrument for raising the interim funding and to keep the airline as a going concern. The choice between the lenders was that either we liquidate Jet Airways and lose everything, or we see that it is sold as a going concern in the shortest possible time. After a lot of deliberations and considerations, lenders decided that we will go for option 2, and in this there is risk, definitely a risk, but not a very high risk if we look at the market capitalization and the value of 50% shares which lenders are getting, and the fresh commitment of 1,500 crore as a priority secured interim funding.
Mr. Kumar, you know, you're the largest, SBI is the largest lender to Jet Airways. Everybody who's tuning in now, Jet Airways has large financial creditors, operational creditors. What would your big message be to them? What would be your big message to the employees of Jet Airways as well? The lenders are now the largest shareholder in this airline.
One is that we are largest shareholder just in trust for a very short period of time, but the entire effort of the lenders and the decisions which they have taken is to preserve the economic value of the enterprise. And this is the new paradigm after introduction of IBC process, that protect the value of the enterprise. When you protect the economic value of the enterprise, you protect the interest of the stakeholders. Employees are one of the most important stakeholders. So automatically, if the enterprise survives, then there is no problem for the employees of the Jet Airways. This is a sincere effort. I am very hopeful that this effort will be successful. And but in these things, you have to keep your fingers crossed.
Mr. Kumar, I wanted to ask you something else. You know, we have seen Naresh Goyal in the past emerge from the brink of collapse. That's when he had been able to convince Etihad to come on board the 24% stake back in 2013. Is Mr. Naresh Goyal's journey with Jet Airways done and dusted? Or does he have the right to come back if he's got the money to back it up, to increase his stake, take back control of the airline he founded nearly 25 years back?
The only criteria for selecting the new investor is that they should not be ineligible under Section 29A of IBC. That is number one. And any revised shareholding or investment will be governed by the Ministry of Civil Aviation guidelines in the matter. And the third is guidelines which have to be complied with. So if you look at it, anyone who wants to come in, they have to be compliant under IBC. Although it is not a NCLT driven process, they have to meet the Ministry of Civil Aviation guidelines and they have to meet the SEBI guidelines. Once these three are done, door is open for everyone, including Mr. Naresh Goyal.
But how will Mr. Naresh Goyal be eligible under Section 29A, Mr. Kumar, because that bans related party bidding? He would be a related party bidding.
If the default is for more than 1 year, then the existing promoter becomes ineligible. In this case, the default is not even 3 months old.
Okay. Now, Mr. Kumar, before I let you go, the press release also talks about closing this transaction in June. That's not very far away. It's just about, in the June quarter. We're almost on the doors of the first quarter. That the timeline, it seems very ambitious. Are you already talking to prospective investors? Have you already got expression of interest? Have there been some backdoor interest that you've got, that you've given such an ambitious timeline?
It is not ambitious timeline. If you look at RBI February 12th circular, what does it say? That within 6 months you should complete the process or take it to NCLT. This process is started on 1st January, and even before, 2 months before that, from 1st November, the lenders were watching the situation and in discussion with the existing shareholders and management how to work out a resolution plan for the airline. So when you're talking about these 3 months, you have to take into account at least 3 months already is spent from 1st January. All the due diligences were done. All the forensic audits were done. Resolution plan was prepared. It was only somebody was to invest money. At the last moment, the agreement could not be worked out. New investor will have a look, set the terms, that this are the terms for investment, and if the lenders like those terms, the transaction can be completed.
So, Mr. Kumar, when the due diligence has been done and the forensic audit has been concluded, has been started, which we understand was done by EY, I ask you this on live television, I know that, but we have employees of Jet Airways tuned in, shareholders tuned in. Was everything found right in the forensic audit, or were there red flags that need investigation?
I think this is something which we cannot discuss, but if we are proceeding with the investment plan, even the new investor who comes in, they will have access to the forensic audit report.
Mr. Kumar, the real gold mine of Jet Airways is seen to be its routes. It's seen to be its landing rights. It's seen to be its parking slots. Would you agree with that? That's what aviation experts tell us. Now, unfortunately, all of this cannot usually be traded airline to airline. The government has to be involved. Does that help, therefore, that public sector banks will be holding more than 50% stake and will be the driving position? Does that help at all? And therefore, does it also mean that you're not looking at a piecemeal approach, or could you also look at a piecemeal approach?
No, we are not looking at piecemeal approach. This is transitory equity. This is not permanent equity. At the earliest opportunity, when the new investor comes in, lenders will be looking for an exit, and we have no intent to stay put in the venture for a long time. This is just a restructuring and resolution, and I am very, very hopeful that there is a considerable interest because of the reasons you yourself mentioned. So Jet as a brand, its slots, its international routes, they are an attractive proposition. And when we say that why lenders are confident about this 3 months, they are confident because of these two reasons, that lot of homework has already been done over past 5 months, and the airline per se is attractive, and the new investor will be having a serious look at it. It could be an airline, it could be a fund, it could be a combination of both.
Okay. And Mr. Kumar, in the past, the draft MOU, which talked about the government sovereign fund, the NIIF, coming on board, is that still a possibility, or that has been ruled out for now?
No, who will rule out? It is the NIIF. They are a fund. As I said, a fund will look or invest if they are convinced that if they invest money, their IRR expectation would be met. So this is an investment call, pure investment call. And that is the call when they evaluate, when they will do their own due diligence, that call they will take.
Mr. Kumar, what about the CEO? Will Mr. Vinay Dubey stay on as the CEO, even if it's in an interim way? Otherwise, there might be just too much turbulence, a complete overhaul?
I can't answer all such questions. Please watch. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar, for joining us here on ET Now. That's the top boss of SBI, Pankaj, making it all official, what we've been reporting since 8 a.m. We now know officially the shareholding. The banks have taken over 50% of the existing shareholders, therefore it's got 50.5%. The other two equity partners, therefore, have been diluted by 50%. So you've got Naresh, Goyal and family at 25.5%. You've got Etihad at 12%, and Rajnish Kumar making it quite clear it can be a foreign investor, an Indian investor of airline, a fund, whether it's private equity or a sovereign wealth fund that can bid for Jet Airways. The process has already begun in the form of due diligence and forensic audit. The only criteria to not be ineligible is that it should be as per Section 29A, and therefore Naresh Goyal is still eligible if he can get the funds there to bid, because he's not been in default for a year. The default is only been for 3 months. He's got 9 months more to be eligible.